The parable of the tenants is an incredible story because it basically sums up the whole of the Old Testament. The vineyard and the farmers are the people of Israel and the land that they were given. And in the Old Testament, you'll know if you're reading it with us, that God takes Israel, he rescues them from Egypt, he looks after them for 40 years in the wilderness, protects them, gives them food, gives them water. And then eventually they land up in a land flowing with milk and honey that God gives them for themselves. And what he says in exchange is, I want to have a relationship with you, a covenant relationship of love where you be my people and I'll be your God. But Israel betray him again and again and again. So just like the vineyard owner in Jesus' story, God sends servants to them to try and get them to turn around and to mend their ways. And in the Old Testament, those servants are called prophets. And so he sends them Isaiah with all of his eloquence, and Jeremiah with his tears, and Hosea with his pain, and Ezekiel with his crazy visions. He sends them these servants to try and get them to turn around and to behave in a way that they should. But Israel reject the prophets, and some of them they mock, some of them they kill. And so eventually God comes in the New Testament, and he comes himself. He sends his son, and it says in the story there, the son that he loves. Jesus comes. And so in this story, Jesus is basically saying to his listeners, this is me, I've arrived. And then he goes ahead and predicts what they're going to do to him, which is they're going to go ahead and kill him also. And Charles Spurgeon, the Baptist preacher, when he's talking about this, he points out the fact that the story of the tenants has three dynamics to it. It's got an amazing mission, it's got an astounding crime, and it's got the reaction of the vineyard owner. The amazing mission is that Jesus, the only Son, comes to you and I to try and to the people of Israel to try and get us to turn back towards him. Why is that amazing? Number one, because you think all the other times God was rejected up until that stage, all the prophets that got killed, all the servants that are killed in the story, that you would keep trying, that you would keep trying to reach out. I don't know if you try reaching out to someone and had your head bitten off, but usually you don't want to try again, do you? And yet God keeps persistently reaching out to us. That's one of the reasons the mission is amazing. Another reason the mission is amazing is because God has nothing to gain from it. God is, in charge of the whole world. He's king of the universe. He doesn't need, the story implies, but he doesn't need us to pay him a small bit of money to keep himself going. The reason he comes on the mission is because he loves us, because he loves you, and because he loves me, not because he has anything to gain from us. All he wants is a relationship with you and I. The astounding crime is that we respond to him and to his message by killing him. And then the response of God to that, the response of the vineyard owner, is that if we turn our backs on him, he will reject us. This is his offer to us to have a relationship with us. And we want to make sure that we every day and every morning and evening, whenever you're watching this, that we turn to God and say, thank you so much for the fact that you came. I receive you, I accept you, I want to love you, I want to serve you, I want to worship you all of my days. This is an incredible story because it's the Old Testament, but it's also the New Testament, the good news of Jesus.